most profound, most well-known, and possibly well-liked series, GT3 Racing. I am Cypher Knight 77.
I'm Dutch Muso.
And we're here to bring you preseason coverage here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. And we're hoping that with a heavily contested field, that we can bring you some live racing action here.
And a lot of names that are quite familiar to people who have watched a couple of the races before this. For instance, Toby, Crazy, Mike, Ondax, Flip Flip, Joe Black, and Jukebox. I personally don't know some of the other guys, but you might.
Of course. I mean, you can obviously see that everyone is now tied down to their manufacturer representation, so we will be going through that in just a moment. There's no Audis partaking in this preseason race, so I guess they're saving their stuff for the real championship to come. So neither the Audis will be seen here of Kev Sinel and Cass, the dynamic duo of those two. But we do have one Nissan here today, I believe, of Toby, right? Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And that spectacular looking blue Nissan. A plus to that. For the Ginettas, we have probably the powerhouse team, I'd most likely say, of Razy and Flip Flip. It'll be interesting to see how they get on with the championship this season. Bentley is rocking Joe Black and Jukebox Hero, both prominent figures in our community as well. As you can see, very nice Bentley looking livery. Surely there will be quite a lot of track blocking with that.
Not why this currently.
We have one Porsche representative today, I believe, the Decany, or the Donkey, excuse me, as Daza is not here, so they'll be rocking the Porsches this season. The Mercedes, another strong lineup of Hondax and Mike. They'll be sporting green Mercedes, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Not my personal preference on a Mercedes, but hey-oh, whatever. Cadillacs, we have Yubi and Dalavan there, so they will be using that car. You can see they're just on screen. And lastly, McLaren has also decided not to partake in preseason festivities, as they will be skipping this first race. And so there you have it. Those are all the manufacturers that will be participating this season. There may be some exceptions later down the line, but we'll have to wait and see just how things get on for the season. So we'll go through the upcoming schedule. Like we said, here is Barcelona, Catalunya. This is only a preseason race, so no points on offer, just simply the chance to test their driving against all the other teams here. And next week will actually be the first official race at the Dubai track, the whole 24-hour circuit and all that.
That could actually be quite a interesting circuit, because yeah, it's not really something where there's a lot of real good overtaking spots, so especially with the Cadillacs, it'll be interesting to see what well, not the Cadillacs, the Bentleys. It'll be interesting to see what people can do around those.
So yes, thank you, and hello to everyone who's joining us here in the chat to watch these guys. This is merely only practice, and we still have qualifying yet to come. But off the bat, it looks like Dalavan is the fastest GT3 on track in the Cadillac, I'm pretty sure. We're gonna have to get used to all the cars and different manufacturers. We're probably gonna be referring to everyone as manufacturers, but at least it beats us telling everyone by country. Kudos to those who gets that reference. But how do you think everyone's gonna get on forward with the race?
I'm actually quite surprised by qualifying, as Hondax is actually over a second off the lead, but that could just be a quali lap versus a race pace lap. So we'll still have to wait and see with qualifying, but if anything I've learned from last season, Honda should be one of the people on top, maybe even Razy, if he can get a good start from the beginning of the season at least.
So yes, so this is the full F1 circuit here at Barcelona, and shame that they don't have the full layout without the chicane in the final sector. But either way, Razy is the first car on track, and likely the first to set his time when it gets around. The times are pretty much stationary around the 1:45 region, so we'll have to see who can make some improvements as they go into qualifying and then the race.
I feel like we could probably expect some 144s.
Indeed. Of course, if there's any driver who you wish to support, or if you just want to support us here in the commentary booth, your praise and support is always welcomed here, and be looking out for any comments or questions that any of you have regarding this season as well.
Can you go with the on-board when Razy comes back around?
Alright. Here's one thing, we can get the schedule here, kind of just see what's next to come. So after Dubai next week, we'll have another 3-race stint of Rapuna Park, Oulton Park, and then the night race at Long Beach. And then after a week hiatus, we'll be back for Watkins Glen, the whole circuit and all there, Imola, Algarve, and then Austria, the Red Bull Ring. And then the final stint will start off with the Endurance Spa race, which is the longest race on the schedule, followed by Zolder, Brno, and then lastly Silverstone to end off the 12-race stint. But, actually it's a Mercedes who crossed the line first. Is that, perhaps Hondax?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, we can go on board with him and kind of see how he takes the circuit. Now, this version of Spain is actually really flat, so that could actually be a little bit of a hindrance to these heavy GT3 cars. This kind of goes around the sweeping right-hander, and you have to brake pretty late here. Make sure to get the car slowed down to around second gear, get a decent turn in, don't want to go too wide because there isn't too much curve to speak of. He's actually doing a really nice job keeping the car under speed, and I guess I jinxed him there. Yep, first jinx of the season. There it is.
Oh, he's back. See what Razy can do then. Next on a slow lap. Still trying to warm up his tires.
It's also going to be a really tricky corner, this fast uphill right. This guy's going to be taking it near full throttle. You have to make sure not to get any track extending there, or even go into the dirt. It's very easy to do that. Once they get past that and into Sector 3, it's mostly just made up of slow corner complexes. It's very difficult to even attempt to make a pass. So I have to wait down the front stretch. Unlike the Formula cars here, these guys do not have DRS or anything like that. In terms of assist here, they do run ABS and traction control if need necessary. But first across the line to set representative time, it's Razy with the 145, followed by Dalavan with the 145 flat, and then UV going 145.8. Already fast times being set here. Toby only going 146. And then Flip going even slower than that, 146.8. Decany moving up to 7th, actually slower than all of them, 148. Joe, obviously on a pace lap himself, so he'll go around for one more time. Flip only going 6th with a 146.8. And Hondak's the only one who didn't make it around once to set in any time whatsoever.
I think this straight here could actually be the best overtaking opportunity when coming into this corner here. If you're real close up behind someone, slipstream will pull you along.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it's pretty difficult to overtake in GT3s in general, so a lot of it will come down to track position and just general car setup.
Yeah, just throwing it down the inside, or trying to bait them towards the outside, that sort of thing.
Which I guess is what makes this probably one of the more popular series, just the sort of emphasis more on driver skill than anything else, really, since the cars are so compact together.
I mean, yeah, they are running different actual cars and things, but for the most part the cars aren't actually all too different. Actually, Honda's really getting very representative timing yet. Let's hope he can do that before time runs out.
A little bit on the dirt and actually a little bit use of the curve. They'll have to be really careful because even though these cars have traction control, they are very slidey actually. Anyone who's driven a GT3 car at full blast knows that these cars are kind of slidey when they get off traction.
Yeah, and for this I'll just quickly testing the Mercedes around here, and they do like to get a little bit under you if you aren't careful.
Actually, now that I look at it, he's got a little bit of front damage. I think the grill is kind of bent a little bit up.
I'll check when
It might not be current. I think he got it from somewhere else, but he does still go third. 145.2. This is Razy in Sector 3 now in the Ginetta. Actually, one thing I'm slightly disappointed is the lack of any red and black cars. I mean, it's all blue and greens and whites.
I think everyone can agree red and black is the best color combo.
You got none of the edgy cars. Or not even any of the rainbow cars, if anything.
Oh, that's sad.
But then again, I guess the Audis and McLarens aren't here, so I guess that helps. Yeah, everyone's picked a shade of green for some reason. Except the Nissans, really.
Yeah, but Nissans are, they're supposed to be a little bit apart from the rest.
Yeah, but even they have a red scheme and they pick blue for some reason.
Yeah.
Either way, we're almost done with qualifying, and it looks like Dalavan and Razy have decided to call it quits, along with UV and Flip as well. Flip was able to get into 4th with a 145.6. Not much further. Jukebox up into 9th place, 147 flat. And I think the Porsche behind him went a little bit faster as well.
I'll check now, but I must say... But I must say that Bentley sounds godlike. It sounds amazing.
Still probably can't beat the Porsche GTE though.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be the fastest car, but it does definitely sound very good.
But just under a minute, only a few drivers have actually decided to make last-ditch qualifying attempts. One of those being Honda's. Come across the line to start his final lap. Make sure to brake really late, actually uses up quite a bit of the curb. Does a really good job to make sure the car doesn't get unsettled there. And now with just 10 seconds left, pretty much all the guys in Sector 3 right now, this will be their last chance to get any sort of lap time in. Hondex, might be up a little bit on time actually. It's going just a bit faster. I don't know if it's 9/10 faster. Toby is across the line. Be careful about the track limits though. Toby, the donkey across the line, neither of them could improve their times. So I think it's just Mike and Hondex left who can improve.
Hondex is down almost 3/10. So.
Using quite a lot of the curbs. Gotta arc the car in to make sure to get a really good run off. But across the line, is it going to be any sort of improvement? It's a small improvement, just a 10th.
Not enough.
Mike, the last driver out in the last Mercedes, to see if he can get anywhere higher than 6th. Across the line, nope, no improvement there either. So there you have it, Dalavan, Razy, and Hondex, your top 3, Cadillac, Ginetta, and Mercedes, followed by Flip, UV, and Mike, Ginetta, Cadillac, Mercedes. So, which all the top 3 is Cadillac, Ginetta, and Mercedes, so that'll be interesting. And then followed by Toby, Joe, Jukebox, and the Donkey there. Very interesting qualifying grid, actually.
I was gonna say Hondex is actually well, what we saw last season, is actually quite far off the top, but you know, maybe he doesn't really like quality laps in these cars. We'll have to see in the race, but
well, that's who you're putting your money on. Well, that's what I'm gonna say. We don't really have much of a reference.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm pretty much just referring to, you know, using last year or last season as a reference point.
Either way, we shall go down the grid as per usual while you get everything else set up. Your row 1 is Dalavan and Razy sporting Cadillac and Ginetta. Then row 2 it's Hondex and Flip sporting Mercedes and Ginetta again. Then row 3, UV and Mike, and I already forgot the manufacturer.
Mercedes, Mike, and UV is Cadillac.
Right. Row 4 is Toby and Joe. I know Joe's in the Bentley, but I already forgot what Toby's in.
The Nissan.
Right. And then row 5 on the grid, it's Jukebox in the Bentley and the Donkey in the Porsche. Gonna have to get used to that. We're in different cars this year, they're not in the same car now.
Yeah.
I have to micromanage this. But nonetheless, this is only a preseason race, but it'll still be the best opportunity for these guys to test what they've really got on the track. Now, there is a mandatory fuel limit of 70 liters that all these drivers will be checked for, both before the race and after the race, so that'll be in the driver's hands to control that. Of course, we can always see everything here with our eyes in the sky. And last but not least, yeah, you can put whoever you're rooting for or whoever you think's got the best chance of winning this race. I don't know, who's your money on?
I'm actually not sure. Because Dalavan was really quick, but you know, I don't know if that's because he's really good with qualifying, or maybe just quick in general.
Either way, we're here to 4 red lights for another season of GT Racing, and we're off. Hondex gets a good start on Dalavan, and there's immediate contact with Razy, who might have made slight contact with the inside wall. Comes back out on track, actually, just behind the 2 Bentleys, but up ahead it is Hondex challenging Dalavan for the lead, and meanwhile in third it's Flip challenging UV for third place. Flip gets the better of UV as they go into turn 2. It's the Nissan just behind the other Cadillac, excuse me. But other than that, it seems to be, slight contact between the first Bentley, that's Joe, and Mike there in the Mercedes there. I was just about to say, they're relatively contact-free through the first sector. Just ahead of there, Joe kind of slowing up there for the Nissan of Toby in front of him, who gets held up a little by Flip, who went wide there. So that's Toby on the inside of Flip, slight contact as they go through Sector 2. That allows Joe to catch up on the outside. So now side by side with Flip and Joe. Head to the fast right. To Mike just behind these two. So already huge implications on the first lap. That's that's already contact in the background, as that's Mike in the hard contact with Razy there in the Ginetta, and that's more damage there. Although they'll likely keep everything together, these things are relatively durable after all.
Yeah, I mean, it's 24 hours at a time.
Yeah. So they'll probably have to settle that in the back. But meanwhile, up front it is Dalavan, who has been able to get a gap on Hondax, followed by UV in third. Flip's fallen all the way down to sixth. He's actually behind the Bentley of Joe. They head now down into turn one. Joe looking a little bit on Toby and the Nissan ahead of him. So Flip getting some of the worst of it though, besides Razy, who started outside pole. But I don't know if Hondax saw that he was right beside Razy when he was there, actually.
I think he got a really good start, and that was, the wheel spin with these cars started pretty big as Mike spun.
Yeah, Mike off the boost there. But I was just about to say, Toby, with just a small mistake there, has allowed Joe up into fourth place for Bentley, and now Flip back up into fifth place in the Ginetta.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think pretty much, Honda's got a really good start. Probably didn't see Razy there. Thought that he got a much better start than he did. And that was just a bit bad luck for Razy.
So now Bentley, Ginetta, and Nissan here. We've got like the two biggest cars and one of the smallest cars here, pretty much in like one sandwich. Although I know from my previous mistakes not to make that joke again. So here you have the battle for fourth. Flip, although I think has some of the better pace, he could challenge if he gets a good run here off the final corner. And I don't think he did get DC'd.
Also the donkey.
Yeah, that was at the very start, actually, so our only Porsche is gone. Oh, Dalavan, our leader here. See, I think he's spun. He's still on the track, though, but he's fallen all the way down to sixth. I think he spun through the right of turn 3, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know what's exactly happened there.
Oh, Toby off and into the gravel there. Keeps it on the track. So, yeah, the current leader is falling all the way down to 8th, so that puts Hondax into the lead of the race, followed by UV in second. And now Joe and Flip are now fighting for third place, but I think he just spun it on his own, actually.
Yeah, didn't look like. So he had quite a gap on Hondax. I think he might have just hit one of the curbs a little too hard.
But now this brings into question, can Dalavan put his pace to the test? He is one of the faster cars here today, so it'll be interesting to see if he can make his way back through the traffic. He's got 3 cars ahead of him in sight. First, Ginetta of Razy. And despite their damage, they've actually decided not to pit, so might be minor damage for Razy.
These cars can take quite a lot. You really see either of them hit the walls harder than
Oh, Joe has made a mistake somewhere because he's down to 5th. Actually, he's right in front of this group. So. Oh, and just up ahead, Toby in the Nissan in the gravel again. And that allows Joe around the outside into turn 3. Toby will look maybe on the outside for turn 4. He gets really close to the back of Joe's bumper there, actually. But I was just about to say, just a lot of early race kind of nervousness kind of setting in here. Everyone making really small mistakes.
Yeah, but I think there's a little bit, nobody really knows what everyone's capable of, so everyone's just trying to push it to the limit, see what they can do.
Push it to the limits. Yeah.
As long as I said that,
Walk along the road and push it to the limits. Meanwhile, Dalavan catching back up to Jukebox ahead. He did get around Razy, so now he sets his sight on the second Bentley.
He's not really letting him get away though.
The top 3 is kind of spread thin, but you have this kind of big pack here led by Toby. Looks at the front of it. Yeah. So pretty much all aboard the Nissan train. Kind of interesting. The Bentley's still got quite a bit of straight line speed. I thought the Cadillac would be a lot better down the straight, but it seems like the Bentley can compete. So it seems like those BOP regs working their magic. Joe's still looking on the back of Toby though, just a little bit. She's looking down the inside of Toby. Turn 4, not quite able to do it. Of course, when it comes to making passes here, it's all about getting that momentum that you need, and it also helps if the driver in front of you kind of slips up.
Second green does seem like the slipstream is really just dirtier. A lot of very fast corners where you really want to stick to the person in front of you, but you just can't.
Right. Ooh, right there in the background, that's Jukebox going wide. That allows Dalavan to go through, and even being challenged by Razy there, up the inside. So that is 2 spots down for Jukebox, falling down to 8 after that small mistake. Ooh, Toby spinning it off the final corner in the Nissan there. Just a little too much back end slip. Thankfully no one hit him, but he's falling all the way back behind this group now. Jukebox still on the back of Razy, giving him some space into turn 1. Actually, Razy goes quite wide there. Jukebox will be looking to cut back in just a bit, but Razy able to keep up his momentum. An interesting question is, what tires do we think these guys are running? I mean, softs, right?
Yeah, I think these guys will be shredding through their tires these times.
You can run hard tires, I don't know why you want to, but these guys do still have to make a pit stop at some point, so...
Yeah. But I don't know if they're gonna switch tires.
You'd most likely keep soft tires for the first stint, at least on this track anyways. front. Flip, he's starting to... Ooh, just there, that's Razy and Dalavan again, who spun it in Sector 3. Small bit of contact.
It does seem to be a bit of a cursed corner for Razy in terms of front.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's up to 5th now, so it's worked out. But Dalavan, another mistake there, has relegated him down to 8th, and just there, that is Jukebox power sliding it there, but this isn't the Rallycross circuit.
This isn't Mario Kart Jukebox.
Still able to keep it on the track, keeping it going. The Toby's just behind there, and actually Dalavan is in the pits. So first taker today, at the 12-minute mark.
Very impressive for that save from Jukebox.
So, does he have a lot of damage though, or is it just for his mandatory stop? Guess we'll have to wait and see.
I think it might be a combination. I mean, he has to stop in any case, so we might as well stop.
Yeah.
No, not this again.
Don't worry about it. Usually all the bad things happen in preseason anyways. But, Dalavan's coming out of the pits now, so likely just, a scheduled stop, not too much damage repair there. I mean, after all, these things are quite durable. But is Toby catching slightly back up to Jukebox. But, what I was gonna say before all that happened was that, Flip is finally starting to find his pace and is actually starting to hunt down UV, just ahead of him.
UV does himself seem to be catching up to contacts with their last lap days.
So the Janetta chasing the Cadillac, chasing the Mercedes. This seems like a regular Bathurst 1000 now, isn't it?
But if you look at the pace between UV and Honda, it's almost identical. It's thousands.
Well, just behind them, actually, Razy's caught up to Joe, who I think had a small incident somewhere. So he could get into 4th. And actually, there's quite up the inside as there's a small mistake from Joe. Have to look to get the momentum off of turn 3. Really close. It looked like they were about to collide at one point there.
No. Oh.
Trying different things, but it's not working. All the way on the back of Joe. If he makes a mistake here, Razy could potentially make a move here. He's very close. He's in the slipstream. Looks for a small move down the inside. Can't quite make anything of it. And just behind them, that's Toby and Jukebox going at it.
Isn't very far at all.
Flip is just about a second a lap faster than UV and subsequently Hondax as well, so he's really starting to pick up the pace in that other Janetta. Janetta's looking like they got the long run pace here to kind of keep up.
They only seem to be getting faster, so this could be a bit of a worry for the rest of the grid. Be pretty good at acceleration, but in terms of top end speed, doesn't really seem to be there.
Well, we know from other practices that the Bentleys and the Cadillacs have really good top end speed, especially on the ends of the straights. So it'll be really difficult to compete with them when it comes to that. But Razy's trying his best in Sector 2, the more technical parts. he can get the move done here, then he doesn't have to worry too much about the Bentley coming back at him.
Just a little bit of a slide coming out of that.
Even in the corners, the Bentley looks really stable. So he can really make some momentum, but Crazy trying a desperate move around the outside, not able to make it work.
I think Crazy's just trying to get ahead now. He is faster, you know. Just can't get it done.
He'll find a way, eventually. He is really close on the back of him, off the back of the final corner. Touching if he was any closer. Although you can kind of just see the top end speed of the Bentley's got on him. Actually, just up ahead, it is UV and Flip has actually caught up to UV for second place. So both the Ginettas is fighting really hard to pass the car in front. Crazy still tried to make an attempt through there. She tries around the outside once again. Goes looking to defend the inside so that he won't get anywhere close. Actually, it's only 18 minutes gone by. Ondax isn't too far ahead of this group, so it really comes down to a matter of if Flip can pass UV, because at his rate, he can actually catch up to Hondax and get past him, but I think both the Ginettas kind of just lacking the top end speed, needing to pass some of these faster cars.
I think that's pretty much the only thing that's holding them back at this point. Because per lap they're actually really quick, but overall, really shiny anyway.
Yeah. It probably comes down to if the track kind of suits your car, now that I think about it. You didn't really consider what cars would really work best around here. It seems like on the long run pace, the Ginettas kind of have it, but they'll need a little more speed to pass these guys.
They're actually within 3 seconds now. Green battling is actually making them faster.
Yeah, just a little bit. Crazy still closing in. This might think it. He's starting to maybe get used to how Joe's been racing him. Ooh, small bit of argy-bargy, and that's actually made Joe go around. Just there in turn 6, here comes his teammate around as well. Comes out just in front of Jukebox. Oh, and in the background, that's Toby in the wall. The Nissan. Just trying to comprehend the first one. There was definitely contact there between Lazy and Joe, yeah.
I thought that was decent at first, but then I saw Joe spin round and I was like, well, that wasn't decent.
And just there in the background, I think Toby might have got a little bit too much on the curve, and it just kind of spun the car.
I think he maybe saw so slow car and maybe got a little bit on the brakes while he was turning, and somebody's going to do.
Flip still on the back of UV, trying everything he can do to get around him.
Actually, they'd almost get through at him.
Decides to bend to the inside. car a lot quicker than UV. He'll look to the inside in turn 6. Will he back off? He decides to back off there. Not going to push the button just yet. Still, I think that was his best chance to make a move. I'm surprised he backed out of it.
Yeah, they're just trying to break him and then that's not it.
Still, actually, even with this fighting, the gap to Hondax is going down even further. Just behind them, the two Bentleys now of Jukebox and Joe starting to... Well, actually, Jukebox is starting to get away just a little bit. Joe, I think, is still recovering from his spin. Yeah, you can see Hondax is just right there up the road. Hasn't really been able to get away from these two despite him being in clean air.
But they're so much faster. He actually has to go onto the outside to actually avoid contact.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the line that he's taking through there. Still, he's keeping a decent pace with him. Oh, once again here, he gets a really good run. He could challenge. Once again, ooh, slight contact there with UV. Still not able to make the move. That's his best chance to do it, but just can't quite close the deal. Meanwhile, actually, Mike has caught back up to Joe and Jukebox, the two Bentleys, which they'll be having a battle for 5th place. So it's like all three of the heaviest cars here, I think. Or the biggest, the widest cars, I think. Oh, no, never mind. It's, why did I say Toby? I meant Mike, excuse me. Either way, it's still both the Bentleys going at it like one another.
Yeah.
Flip, I don't think is still close enough to UV, just with that lack of straight line speed. But now that we're just actually near the 30-minute mark, these guys will be starting to contemplate pit stops, if any, or when they'll come in. Really nice run to turn 4. UV blocks the inside, although that allows Flip to cut back under him. Alright, 3rd time's the charm. He's got to do it now or else he's not going to get anywhere. And indeed, he is up the inside and has overtaken UV for 2nd place. And now he can set his sights on Hondax.
Now it's really just, hammering it into that time. Trying to catch up again.
Meanwhile, back with battle for 5th. But now defending from his teammate Joe. Buck's in the grass a little bit. Might upset the car here. Have to be really careful. Oof. Buck's on the grass, and Joe having to take avoiding action, and here comes Mike. Looks like he's just going to follow behind Joe for now. That is Joe. Still side by side, actually, although, well,
okay.
Well,
that was very awkward.
I don't even know.
That was like the typical thing of, you and your mates at the door, like, oh, you go first, oh, you go first, oh, you go first.
And Mike's just sitting there going, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. I joined the party.
Okay. Well, I'm still questioning what I just saw. Both of them slow down.
Yeah.
I never really seen that before. Alright, and now there comes Joe. I guess they figured it out. Joe runs very wide into turn 1, have to go over the bumps and curves. Mike now finally loses a little bit of contact, and he goes through the middle of the two Bentleys. Why does this feel so, like, TV show-ish?
Yeah.
We swear this isn't scripted, this is just very strange.
And we are back with Hondax for a second.
But now Mike is up in the 5th place past 2 Bentleys, and now Joe goes through again. Although I think they already kind of messed up letting Mike go by there.
Yeah, I don't think that was part of the plan. But that's actually already hit quite the gap into the movie, so it seems it might have just been dirty air pretty much holding back the Ginetta.
Right. But now that the race is sort of starting to calm down, we can really talk about the important things that need to be addressed. Why no Lamborghini?
Oh,
What?
why no Lamborghini?
Yes.
I mean, Lamborghini isn't a very fun car. Not that I mind.
Lamborghini is not a fun car. I resent that.
It's too powerful.
So what about the Ferrari then?
The Ferrari is still, like, you can still drive it and enjoy it, but with the Lamborghini, the Huracan at least, you're driving it and you're feeling like every single corner that you go through, like, you just step, you tippy toe on the throttle and it's like, ooh, is that too much? Ooh.
I've never had that problem when I've driven it.
Have you never?
No.
I despise the Huracan.
I love driving the Huracan. I don't see... Well, I mean, I know it's got a V12 in the back of it, which can be kind of intimidating, but... Honestly, I don't see what's so bad about it.
Yeah, I just don't like the handle. It's also... It's really wide, so it just sort of feels... Yeah.
Is it really wide, though? Like, comparatively?
It's probably as wide as the Bentley, I'm not gonna lie. Have you seen one of those things? They're wide boys.
The Mercedes is a little bit wider, though. What, are we gonna put up, like, a Google image just to, like, prove our point?
I'm gonna look up the specs, actually.
Well, there you have it. Dutch is looking up the specs of them.
The tech boy.
Another thing, surprisingly no BMW either.
That did surprise me.
I mean, I would have thought that it's one of the more popular cars. At least, maybe in GTE, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the BMW, to me at least, it feels like it's a very standard car. So the width of the Huracan is 1.92 meters. And what was the other one? The Bentley? Which Bentley is that?
No, the Mercedes.
Oh yeah, the Merc.
Moment of truth, is it wider?
I'm looking that up now. It is, oh my god, it's 10 centimeters wider.
I knew it! I was right.
10 centimeters wider.
I'm still right.
That's like that Ferrari versus Lambo thing where, I think Ferrari came out with the 458, which had, I don't know how much horsepower.
Oh, Joe there. I was just about to say Toby disconnected, but also Joe just spinning it right there. In Sector 2, he's back on the track though.
But Ferrari came out with a car, and that had, I think, 500 and something horsepower. And then Lambo came out with a car which had 3 more horsepower. And then Ferrari made another car with 2 more horsepower than the Lamborghini. And that was literally just an extremity measuring contest.
In other news, Split has now gotten within the 2 second range, so we'll have to keep on board with him, kind of see his trek to the front.
I think this could actually be quite an interesting championship because Razy isn't actually too far off the pace himself.
Right,
I think Hommack's actually made a mistake there because if you look at his last lap, 148, he hasn't gone over 147 lap yet.
Right. Also, no Astons either.
Yeah, I quite like the Astons.
I think it's a little too wonky to drive in the GT3 though. Like in GTE it's fine, but in GT3
yeah.
I don't know what's off about it.
Yeah, it does like to lose, it likes to slide.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to save as well, like if you go into a slide, you correct, and then you correct to the other side, and then you just do a 180 and then all your speed's gone. Oh, Honda's in.
Yes, Hondax is in the pits for their scheduled pit stop. In terms of pit stops, I think it's mainly just for fuel and tire checks, really.
We can check Honda's. I can just see what Honda's is doing. That's sad.
Is a mandatory rule that these guys make at least one pit stop, which is why they usually have the 70 liter fuel range.
That is sort of an interesting thing to me because wouldn't it sort of be fastest to run as long as you can on as little fuel as possible, so just try and go for as long as you can?
It's probably just a balancing issue, really, because, I mean, we already have such different and dynamic cars. Now, you're throwing fuel load into it as well. That could, some of the lighter cars could possibly benefit from that.
So I know the Genettas, their top speed might actually become something when their fuel load or weight does anything to top speed in this game. But
Honda's still in though.
Honda's out.
Oh, excuse me, Jukebox. Jukebox is now in.
But Dalavan is 15 seconds behind Honda's after the pit stages, so through everything, I mean, 15 seconds is all he's lost, which isn't really all too much. It's spun that twice and that wrong.
True. I think, who else is coming in? I think it's Yuvi, yeah, Yuvi.
I think the Genettas are going to try and go as long as they can. Rage isn't going anywhere.
They have the pace to do it, actually. If the Genettas can make a pretty decent gap on lower fuel, they could possibly overtake some people.
And Flip now, if he can continue a good pace, he actually might not have to worry about overtaking Honda's at all.
Right. Of course,
he was actually fast.
Of course, there's still the issue of, pit speed limits and all that stuff too. Make sure not to speed down pit road.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the worst. You're having a really good race and you get slapped with a 10-second time penalty for pit lane speeding.
So Yuvi's coming out of the pits now. Looks like he'll stay in 4th place, although he's got Honda's just behind him. And yeah, indeed, I knew Honda's pit seems a little bit longer than usual because he's now behind Yuvi. So Cadillac has jumped the Mercedes in the pit stop cycle.
But UV was actually pretty quick as well, so I think either we're going to have a battle or Honda might actually struggle catching back up to you.
Did UV take less fuel than Honda? Oh, they have just about the same.
0.3 difference.
So it'll be interesting to see when Flip decides to come in, although kind of got the good strategy call, just staying out on lower fuel. And Razy as well, he could potentially maybe catch up as well. But actually the closest fight on track is between Hondax and UV. So this is the overall battle for second, I think. If we had a tracker, we could probably tell how Flip's distance is, but right down the inside is Hondax, making good use of that mistake. He's back up into fourth and overall second, or either first, really. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we don't know where he's going to come out against Flip. Second.
Yeah. So there's Mike in the pits. He'll likely come out behind Dalavan as well. But maybe on maybe after a pit stop, Hondax might be starting to pick up the pace again. Might have just been on cruise control for a little bit.
I mean, he's really quick now, like, really quick. So he might have gotten tires, and that might have been what's taking so long. So he didn't really seem to have much damage.
Right. Well, I was curious to see if he would like go all the way with strategy, but it seems like it's working out for him. He's definitely the fastest car on track as it stands.
He's still almost a minute behind Flip, and the gap is growing smaller. It isn't getting smaller by now.
Well, it'll take a while for Flip to get on and off pit lane. He's 4/10 up. This could be the fastest lap of the race. He's stomped away from UV in a single lap, actually. Oh, they say that, and he nearly spins it. Now there's commentary curse number 2. Keep track.
Is he gonna make a list of this?
Put them all together for one big compilation video. That'll get you some views.
Gonna make a notes thing for it.
But even still, what was I gonna say? The lap still wasn't that bad. It was actually still in the 146 region, because he was gonna put a lap time in the 145.
Yeah, he was actually doing really well, and then small little mistake.
Yes. The Flip's probably running with less than 20 liters now, I'd imagine.
Go check then. It's on 15.
Yeah, so you might wait till the very, very end, since he knows that he'll be spending quite a bit of time in the pits. Even still, let's not count Razy out. Razy has been one to make some shock surprises when it comes to pit strategy.
He's still, what, 30 seconds front of Hondax. I mean, he might come out close behind. Relatively close. Don't know if he's actually going to be able to fight with the Hondax and UV.
Well, while we're waiting, let's talk about some other news in the motorsports world. Formula 1, everyone's favorite topic.
Yes.
Go on, this is usually where you tell me something about Formula 1.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of the new liveries have come out, so which one would you say is your favorite then?
I haven't seen all the liveries.
My favorite would probably be, so in terms of the racing season, AlphaTauri, but in terms of testing, definitely Alfa Romeo.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen the Alpha testing livery, but it's better than the Red Bull one from last year.
I haven't, well, I know that they did switch Toro Rosso to AlphaTauri, but I haven't seen that reveal. I've only seen, I think, the Ferrari and Red Bull, I think.
But the Red Bull's pretty much Control C, Control V.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, it still looks good, so...
Yeah. I mean, pretty soon we'll have to be welcoming Aston Martin, though, as well.
Yeah, actually, nobody really knows what color scheme they're going to use. If they're going to use the green or the BWT paint. But probably going to be green, because it's Aston Martin.
Yeah, of course they're going to use green. Really,
But
it's going to look weird.
Yeah.
It's going to look like a New Age Lotus.
Yeah. But pink and green, that's going to be the most disgusting color palette if they do that.
They could make it work if it's like if it's a darker shade of pink and maybe a lighter shade of green. They can make it work.
That could actually still look good, yeah. But Haas have gone back to their normal color scheme. So we do actually have a battle going on.
Yeah, between both the Bentleys as well. They seem to be around each other a lot today.
But I must say, I find the new Mercedes, from the front at least, not so great.
Oh.
To me, it just looks way too... Like somebody just started up paint and just used the straight line tool and just started putting a bunch of straight lines at like a Formula 1 car. And just put the normal, Mercedes color on.
Jukebox missing the turn that allows Joe up into 7th. I was gonna say, well, why don't the chat tell us what they think of the new F1 liveries?
Which one is their favorite on that?
Right. Who are we missing?
We're missing Toby and...
No, I meant paint schemes.
Paint schemes? I'm trying to think now. Red Bull, Renault haven't... They've released their livery, but not their actual car. But I'm trying to think now. I've got to make a small list now while I start keep track. So we have AlphaTauri have done theirs. I'm just gonna say Alpha with PH. Alpha haven't released their full-time thing, if I remember correctly. I have to check their account. Renault have released theirs. Red Bull. Ferrari. The Mercs have 2. Haas has.
Joe, a small mistake that allows Jukebox through, but just about to say Razy has come out in 4th, so he'll stay ahead of Dalavan. So now all that's left is for Flip and his deciding pit stop. He's coming to the Sector 3 right now.
Yeah, so Alpha haven't officially released a livery.
Oh, Flip is in the pits now. Alright. Exciting moment here at the 15-minute mark. Flip is in the pits for his scheduled fuel and tires, so we'll see if he can come out ahead of Hondax. Hondax has pulled a huge gap from UV, actually.
Yeah. In the short time that, I think UV might have actually made a mistake there, because 9 seconds, that's a really big gap to just pull. But Williams haven't released theirs. Alfa Romeo haven't released theirs.
Flip's coming out of the pits right now. Hondax is coming through the final sector now, so it's going to be really close. I think Hondax is just going to get it.
No. It's going to be close. Let's see. No.
See, Flip, he's just just up ahead.
Yeah, he's up first
Flip with an impressive second stint has managed to lead the race here away from Hondax, although Hondax still has roughly 15 minutes to catch up. He was able to catch him past Yuvi, so we'll see. Flip has actually taken less fuel than Hondax as well.
Yeah, he's actually got drastically 16th place.
I think that's still enough, though.
Okay, so all teams that have officially released their liveries are AlphaTauri, Renault, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Haas, and McLaren. And only Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Racing Point are yet to release their liveries.
Right.
Or at least officially. Haas hasn't officially done anything, but they've done some renders of their liveries.
Of course, going to take a little bit of time for Flip to get adjusted after making a pit stop, so that's allowed Hondax to kind of close him by about a second. So the gap roughly remains 4 seconds from Hondax to Flip.
So Flip actually gained 6 seconds by pitting late.
And even Razy's actually closing in on UV just a little bit after his pit stop.
UV seems to be very slow in those pits. It's done, but
just going a little bit wide there off the corner exit. I think in the latter half, I think UV just doesn't quite have the pace to kind of get that extra time that he really needs. I mean, he's fallen so far back off of Hondax. And Hondax, once again, I think with one of the fastest cars on track with a 46 flat.
that is actually a very impressive time. But another Formula 1 news, China postponed. Do you think it will actually happen? Like, 'cause they say it's postponed, but what's the chances of it actually happening?
I said this before, and I think I'm gonna stick with it. I think they're gonna cancel it, unless in like perhaps maybe the next week or so something happens. But as things
I know some people are actually pretty far, or pretty close with the vaccine. They say they're ready to start human testing on the summer, but that's still, long after April, so I think in all likelihood it's going to just be cancelled.
Yeah. But we'll see. Razy is really putting in a lot of work to catch up to UV. He could challenge for 3rd place. With just
Flip's actually gone faster than a 146.
Yeah, Flip has responded. He's gone a 145.9. Honda's not able to respond to Flip's time. But we could have a battle for the podium here within the last 10 minutes. Probably go on board with Razy, kind of see how he's taking these corners actually. While all this is happening, there's still a battle for 7th between Jukebox and Joe. Now, I usually thought you're supposed to stay away from your teammate, but it seems like they cannot get away from one another.
Yeah, I think they sort of just racing each other because Joe's like slowing down to make sure that they're racing it.
It's all
I think
just
they're doing
practice.
Yeah. Points anyways.
Race is still a race, you know.
Yeah. You know, I think it's also a little bit better for them because they're fighting each other with the same car, so maybe more boost to them.
Well, just this lap alone, Ray's been able to cut the gap by around 2 seconds to UV. I wonder if maybe it's a tire situation that's causing UV to be so slow. Can't really see what tires they take, so you just have to infer, but it's not like he's a... Sorry.
But that would actually be a pretty interesting thing because Hondax, when UV just got out of the pits, UV was, what, 2 seconds ahead. And Hondax managed to get by, at the first lap, sort of thing. And, losing a lot of time as well, so I think it might be that everyone else pitted the tires and UV just didn't. And now he's sort of paying the price.
It might just be a case of wrong's strategy. As here comes Razor now on the outside for 3rd place. Once again, UV kind of holding down the inside lane, but Razor will get the switch back on him. Look to try a move, kind of the same way that Razor did, or Flip did, and indeed that is Razor up into 3rd place.
I must say, there's one car that I love that
yeah, they pull off the blue really good.
yeah.
Oh, as Hondax has fallen way far away from Flip, so I wonder if he's made a mistake somewhere.
He was 4 seconds, he's still 6 to 7 seconds.
Meanwhile, Yugi, I think, still losing time to Razy, actually. It's definitely not a fuel concern, so it could just be tires.
Because Hondax's pits don't look to be quite long, and the same for Flip and Razy. I'm wondering why they would take it so long, but it might be tires. Because everyone's getting past UV pretty easily. And UV was pretty much in and out.
Yeah. It'll be really disappointing, though, because he was in the podium for pretty much the entire day, only to lose it so late in the going.
Yeah, in the last 10 minutes.
But still, once again, Razy able to come back after pretty much biting the dust in the first lap. He's able to come back and finish on the podium if things stay as they are now.
I think, the biggest loser of the soul is Dalavan, started from pole and is 41 seconds behind the leader now.
Yeah, I think just a culmination of mistakes kind of relegated him throughout the field. Also, I think had some damage as well to repair.
Yeah.
But it is still a preseason race, so these guys are still learning the tricks of the trade. They'll take what they know to Dubai next week.
I'm like falling even further behind them. Who's actually... They both started pushing each other into the 5. Wait, no. Hondax did up to 154, I read that wrong.
Yeah, but that is Flip in the 155.5 region. I think Honda's kind of just backing off, making sure to hold down second.
Yeah. Don't make any mistakes, that'll cost that position.
He's actually got go for the Bentley voice just ahead of him. So even if he were to try to catch Flip, he still has lap traffic.
But I think he actually spun because he was in front of these Bentleys, and then now he's behind them.
You can kind of see the slide there from that Mercedes. I'm not sure how he's able to make that thing slide so much.
Just get on the power as early as you possibly can.
Well, I would have thought that the Mercedes is actually one of the more stable cars.
It's got a pretty long wheelbase as well, so...
I mean, it's like all they talk about in terms of like real life racing, the stability of the Mercedes.
Yeah.
Ooh, very, just kind of off pace there, kind of not in the rhythm, I guess you could say.
It might be tight, so I don't know if it was really pushing hard. He's sliding through everywhere now.
I wonder if he's messing with like traction control settings and that.
Maybe.
Because the gap is already down to 18 seconds, and he was 3 seconds off that last lap alone. To be fair, though, I don't think he has to worry too much about Razy, although he definitely can't relax. He is...
If he keeps losing at this pace, then Razy will be right behind him in a second.
Yeah. Either he has some kind of problem, is messing with his traction control settings, or, I don't know, just something. He can't really afford to be losing this much time, as, ooh, that's Joe off there in the back.
Yeah, and you can see Jukebox backing up a little bit here. They're just battling each other.
That's Razy right there, so both of them getting out of his way. Because now the gap to Razy and Hondex is roughly 7 seconds.
So in reality, this would be the most confusing race to watch.
I don't see what's so confusing about it. Everything makes sense.
It's too bad he's constantly backing off to keep racing each other.
Hondex has lost 4 seconds in this lap alone. We will actually have one more lap, I believe, because Flip has already crossed the line. So this is not the final lap unless Flip decides to slow down. Yeah, Hondex lost 4 seconds in that lap alone, so he must have some kind of problem with the car.
He's speeding up quite a lot now, though, again. But there is also not quite a lot of time again.
Maybe you are right in terms of like tire temperatures, because he was really fast. Pretty much like the fastest driver on track after his pit stop.
In this game, if you start raising the tire temperature, you start burning fuels. Already under 5 seconds. Just rolled over there.
Unless he has some sort of damage we're not aware of. Or even like overheating his engine, if anything.
That can actually also be a problem.
We're not really sure what happens like beneath the engines of these cars, so we just kind of have to infer.
If I was listening to both of the Cadillacs, every single corner they were pretty much, you know, short shifting, redlining the engines.
But Flip has crossed the line once more, so we will have one more lap. And so Razy is actually technically in this fight for second. That lap alone, he lost about 2 seconds. Now, if he can, getting the overtake is another issue on its own, but we can see him in the background.
This might be the biggest tease for Razy. Just come back from who knows how many seconds, and now he's gonna finish more than likely just behind him.
Wait and see. Yeah, he hasn't had the perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't have the perfect track record. But I think he definitely knows that he needs to keep at least a decent pace throughout the whole lap.
Hello?
But,
Oh, sorry, my controller just disconnected even though it's full battery.
well, I was gonna say one person who has been roughly flawless this race is Flip, as he's coming through the final sector now on lap 34. And he pulled a really audacious pit strategy to go all the way. Looks like it's paid off.
Really well.
Yeah, just 3 leaders left there, but it is Ginetta and the first win in preseason for Flip here in GT3. Excellent win for him. It looks like just by the skin of his teeth, Hondax is gonna bring the Mercedes car home for P2. Gap was brought down to pretty much 2 seconds for Razy. But even still, that's a really good effort for him to come back and finish third anyways. Meanwhile, Yuvi, who's had his own separate pair of issues, looks like he's gonna come across to finish fourth. A still all-around decent day despite his hardships. Both of the Bentleys coming around, and I mean, I guess at this point it doesn't really matter where either of them finish.
No.
Might as well just be considered a tie. Gallivan, his issues plagued him and his efforts today. He will finish 5th, but he'll likely learn from the experience. And Mike, who... Sorry, man.
Yeah, with these guys, it's pretty much just keep it on the track and you almost guarantee a good position.
Mike, who didn't really recover after his first incident, he will finish 6th and last car on the lead lap. And the disconnections involve Toby, who will finish 9th, and Didonki, who will finish 10th. So these are your final results. Flip, 30 seconds away from Hondax, and then Razy to round out your P3. It is Ginetta, Mercedes, Ginetta in the preseason race, followed by Yumi and Dalavan in the 2 Cadillacs, Mike, Jukebox, and Joe rounding off Mercedes, Bentley, and Bentley. Alright, so what'd you think of that?
Definitely a good sign for the Ginetta team.
Most definitely, but
pretty good race overall.
Of course, this was just one track, and of course, the track dynamic can change from week to week. So,
I mean, you know, this is sort of one of those circuits that it's got that all, you know, it's got the long straight into the hard braking zone, it's got the, you know, the quick corners, short straights with hard braking zones, that sort of thing, so this is really the ideal testing circuit.
Indeed. Well, congratulations to your podium. However, the real racing doesn't start until next week, when all of our major series, really, apart from F1, will be starting officially. So then, be sure to join us next week for Dubai, when we will actually see the Audis and the McLarens in action as well. Be really looking forward to see how they get on the track well with these guys. So, have anything else to say? Oh, well, next week we will be starting official driver interviews. We figured that'd be a good time to start it. Right?
Yes.
Right. And also, obviously, we are Gavra Racing. We're always looking for drivers, talented or not so talented. We always have an academy open to see if we're willing to test what you've got. As well, we also have a Discord, Gavra Racing, where we basically talk about most random nonsense you can think about in the world of motorsports. So I have been Cypher Knight 77,
I've been Dutch Muso.
and we'll see you next week for more GT3 racing action. Thank you all for joining us, and goodbye.